Bye. And welcome back, everybody, to another week of the Upsurge Premier League. I'm your host, as always, but for the foreseeable future, things might happen. We don't know. Life is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it present. And I am Ravishing, the most ravishing man on the internet. Joined here by my side, as always, who's standing up again, Mr. Pete from Boulevard. How you doing, Pete?
Doing good. You sure your name is not Master Oogway? Because I see that Kung Fu Panda reference you're sliding in there, bro. I'm on to you.
Just a little bit, man. But you know how it is, bro. Things are fun, interesting, but fantastic at the exact same time, which is why I believe we should cherish every single day.
Fair enough.
Which is why but another thing I want to cherish is the guest that we have today. This beautifully handsome man who's right by me.
Look at him.
As I fade away into the ether.
Darkness.
I don't know what's happening to you, honestly.
Sir Dia, how you
He's
doing?
doing the fadeaway with the pedals that Master Uguay does.
Oh my god, dude, his
breaking
time
out.
is
He's
coming,
actually
everything.
doing it.
Oh my god. How wild is that?
That should be coming. Yeah,
And you say I commit to the bit. Holy.
I know. That's crazy. Yeah.
Dia, how are you? I didn't get to hear your response. You okay, man?
I'm doing super well. Even better after that. I love Kung Fu Panda.
Same. I think all of us as a consensus genuinely do appreciate the fantastical piece of cinema that is Kung Fu Panda, right? It's end of the day, Kung Fu Panda I find has taught us so much, but unfortunately nothing about these teams beat down, which we're gonna see tonight. That being that being AOE Brady, sorry, and Conviction. So let's start it off by talking about AOE. Dia.
Oh, okay, well, I as you know, I've been talking about AOE since I started doing prep for this. They are an incredible team in the Infernal group. They've been dominating, I think, is nothing short of what we can say for them. And so much so that I've got a very special stat for you leading into tonight. I know Beatdown's heard it, but Ravish, let me drop this one on you. AOE, for the entirety of this split, throughout all of their 6 games, have been in a deficit of gold for 13 minutes. That deficit has exceeded 1,000 gold exactly one time for less than 60 seconds. This team does not know what poverty tastes like, and I don't even know if anybody can force them into a gold deficit that's big enough.
I can't imagine they do because if you look at it right now, right, it's as I believe I'm being told on my camera is having just a little bit of issues. So we'll try to figure that out as we go along here, friends and amigos and amigas. But yeah, like you mentioned, poverty literally not in the name of the subject. They're looking like a first world country because right now their economy is flourishing. But for how long, right? That's really depending on it because their opponents tonight are a conviction beatdown. But do you think they have what it takes to possibly put them into a recession?
It's a really tough ask for them. I think if we're gonna keep the economic references going here, I think what's going on with Conviction can be akin to like the Industrial Revolution sort of thing. When we last saw them on broadcast, things were not looking so hot. Whether it's drafts, whether it's play, there was definitely a lot to be desired. But looking back on some of their performance over these last couple of weeks, they've actually started to get a decent bit better. Really starting to find their footing and their identity as a team. And as they take these steps forward, we're going to see tonight if they're actually able to take it to a team like AOE Randoms, because they're, in my opinion, the best team in the group here. So I think it's still going to be a tough ask, despite how much Conviction have actually improved.
Yeah, I was going to say it's worth noting that last time when they did face off, Conviction had only been playing together for a few days now, and
True.
And at this point, obviously, they've improved by miles and miles, and we're not the only ones thinking of that. I had the privilege of speaking to the support from AOE just before we got onto the desk today, and he was talking about how that's on their radar as well. They're expecting this to be a much closer match.
Well, that's good too, because I think the one thing that is that happens to teams in Upsurge, I think AOE Randoms have made this mistakes too, is that, when you're a lot better than a team, you do play with that bit of happy gaming is what a lot of people call it at the highest levels. And that it would be something to worry about considering how much Conviction have improved. But the fact that AOE are also respecting that kind of also lowers the chances, in my opinion, of AOE actually losing.
I mean, considering I remember talking to both Conviction and AOE quite some time ago as well. Now, one thing we know about AOE is, right, also these guys have played together for just so long before when they were just randoms, Chim, Short Hop, right? So So they definitely have synergy going on, but there's no coaching structure in between them, which I find can be one of the really main weaknesses when it comes down to what only drafting and play styles and plays with the game. Although they can share the same vision in and throughout, and although they're friends, right? When it comes down to the draft, like player run drafts and coach run drafts, in my opinion, look very, very different. But before we get into all the semantics, I believe we do have a graphic for you all today, which our producer Hypertension has prepared for us all, which is another version of the I'm forgetting the name, but when we the disabled list. There we go. I see it in front of us. Jace has been disabled. Unfortunately, do the double Q bug that we've been seeing, which is absolutely disgusting. Yet Rammus is still bad. He's
No.
flying across the map. Honestly, he's not bad. And Gwen released on patch is of course still a bug. The Scissor Queen, but she can't cut down people no more. And Beatdown, read that last thing for me. Maybe I can't read that.
We're really making me do this? All right.
Yes.
So
yes.
if anyone who is wondering why Viego is disabled, it's because it's Viego.
It sounds so good.
It's
It
that
sounds
simple.
So glorious. Oh my lord.
It's just that easy. Now, I wanted to ask you, man, looking at the disabled list, what champion are you more excited to see actually probably pop into game? And do you think we'll see Gwen before we see Viego?
Do I think? Yes, I think we'll definitely see Gwen before we see Viego. She has so much potential as a laner that I don't think you can. I don't think that you can ignore the level of priority that you're going to get off a pick like that, and it's something that a lot of teams could use.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I actually disagree. I personally think. Well, if we're talking about who will actually make it off the bugged list or the disabled list, whether it's here or Riot first, I'm going to agree it's probably Gwen. If we talk about champion power, I actually think a lot of people are, because of how much Viego hasn't seen much pro play, or any pro play rather, people are forgetting how like absolutely, positively, disgustingly broken that champion is.
Yeah, that's fair. That guy's pretty scary, and I for one am kind of glad that he's kept off of the list for now because of the incredible potential that champion has.
Sure.
The fact that you can just take over somebody when they're near executionable health.
No, after they're dead.
After you're able to kill them, take them over, get all of their abilities. Remember we talked about before, right? The combination with him and Silas, that being named Mr. Steal Your Champ, can be so fantabulous to play against, play as, but never against, in my opinion. But with all that, we definitely won't be seeing the champs here today. But I'll come to you here. What are you expecting to see in terms of AOE Ready's play style to make sure that they continue on the rise and it's not just a fallacy or a bubble?
I am so glad you asked me that, Ravish, because I've been sitting on this. I've been sitting on this the entire desk segment. AOE, they want to play for objective control. During this split, they've lost 1 Rift Herald, 1 Baron, and 4 Dragons. That's it. I expect them to be on top of their objectives. That includes turrets, where they've secured the first turret every game. If we're seeing an AOE win, it starts at the neutrals and it's going to expand to the lanes. For Conviction, it has to go the other way around.
I would even say for Conviction, with what we've seen in the past and how much they've improved now, I think it starts at the draft for them, because I want to see what they're actually going to be able to pull out. I've heard whispers of a Scion mid that has come through in recent weeks.
A Nocturne top.
Nocturne top is good as well, and stuff like that. As they start figuring out who they are and how they want to play as a team, I think that's already going to give us a bit of an idea of how tonight might go.
I mean, considering so far right now, it all comes down to the draft here, right? So we're almost very, very close to it. But with that, I do want to load up our predictions for tonight that will be appearing right below you as to what we all guessed into. And would you look at that? The desk synergy is kind of immaculate. Dia, do you have any choice or words you want to say as to why you said?
I just want to say that I didn't get to speak to Conviction before I sent in my predictions. I'm not gonna say that I'm changing. I think that AOE is a strong team. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it. Yeah.
Okay. Pita.
AOE good, Conviction almost good.
You know what? Completely understandable. Your reasoning is fair and sound, and your judgment is clear. But at the end of the day, I honestly do have to agree with you. AOE good, conviction getting there, but we'll see
Soon.
if the Master reach the top, how far this economy goes, and what the interest is looking at for all of these games. You throw it over to a caster for tonight, but Chilling Guacamole and Travesty. I think it's going to game number 1. Take it away, gentlemen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to UPL on Thursdays, baby. I'm not too familiar with the scenery here, but you know what? I have a lovely person to take me through all the action here. I got Chillin' Walk here on the broadcast with me. How are you doing today, man?
Travis, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited to watch these two guys go at it again. We saw them back in week 1, and I'm just here to commentate some damn good League of Legends, bro.
Dude, I'm right there with you, man. I'm excited to see what these two teams are going to go at each other with. UPL has been so exciting to be able to watch this season, and I feel like every team has been slugging out against each other. So I'm ready to see what they have and what they got prepped in the tank for us, especially now that we've had another week on 11.8. You know, these teams had a little bit more time to prepare, maybe some more spice.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last week where we saw ISU and Hyper rocking the Morgana in the jungle. I'm excited to see what these two teams are going to be looking to adapt when it comes to these changes, because if you guys have been paying attention to Amateur, we've been the entire time we've been watching Proving Grounds. Right now, we on the new patch. We have some new changes in the jungle. I'm excited to see who's down to throw, who's down to put out on the Darius, on the Rumble, on all these different jungles that could come through and actually beat down some of these full clear jungles like Hecarim and Udyr. Travesty, that's what I'm excited about. And one of these teams are going to be pulling some of this magic out. I'm down, man. I'm down for it.
Look, if there's a team that's going to bring that kind of chaos to the Rift, you know, you look at some of these, you got teams that might be convicted to that randomness, and then on the other side, you got a random team. Who knows what they're thinking, right? You got a whole bunch of different things that can go on there, and I'm with you on that. I was lobbying for the Darius jungle lock-in at some point in time last Friday. I was like, look, we already got the Morgana jungle on Thursday. Give me a little bit of spice. Didn't get it, but, you know, like I said, another week. Maybe they put it in the chamber. They figured it out.
Exactly, and I want to see what Dragon Jindy can pull out from Conviction's side. We take a look at Conviction's Travesty. They're the team that's 1-2. They only taken one game for this first half. We're in the second half now, Travesty. They need to try and see if they can make an upset, because we look at AOE randoms. They are looking damn good, man. They're just trying to see if they can push themselves to a 4-0 coming on through. And remember, they don't have a coach on their side. They're all just good players. They all have been played together for quite a while. Jazzy and Pocus, the new person who's coming into the squad, has already worked together. And I just talking to Pocus, you know, he's like, yo, I just came in and everything it was just kind of smooth sailing. So if I'm AOE randoms, I'm just sitting pretty and just making sure I'm focusing on my game plan.
Yeah. And we'll have to see if AOE randoms is going to be able to find that going into their favor. We're getting into the draft, so we're starting to go through these bans here. And right at the get-go, no surprise, they're already taking Vladimir off the table away from Conviction.
Yeah, Ariandel is, of course, known for his Vladimir in the mid lane, formerly known as Deskerton, who's played on UCI, played on many other teams throughout the amateur series. So, no surprise at all. Seraphine, of course, getting taken off the table. Nowadays, I'm actually surprised Seraphine has seen a lot of counter play, especially with Yone and Akali on the table. Competition, of course, I haven't seen him play a lot of these melee mid laners or assassins to counteract that Seraphine, but who knows, man. Regardless, though, Seraphine off the table, Gala being men away from Ariandel 2. They are targeting this guy left and right.
I feel like this is what they did week 1, I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to have flashbacks.
Yeah.
I feel like I called this, and all of a sudden it's coming back to me. It's like, oh, wait, they targeted Ariandel and the champ left. Oh, God, they're doing it again. And,
man.
It makes sense.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is what AOE Randoms is telling us, Travesty. I'm excited to see what the next band's going to be, because remember, Morgana's on the table. Darius is on the table, too. Nocturne, of course. Tropa already brought it up, too. About this Nocturne that could go up top on Chimp or can go into the jungle from both these guys. So I respect that ban a lot. Curious to see what Distal Phoenix actually plays. Known for a top lane carry style, but you know, if he actually pulls it out, I can see why it's gonna be banned out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a smart way to look at it. It's a champion that's given a lot of people some problems. And as we go on to this last ban here, it is Thresh, their first pick over to AOE randoms. But they want to lock in here.
That's pretty standard, you know, Thresh being one of the better supports being banned away currently in the game. It beats Rel, it beats Alistar. Get it off the table. And also Pocus is notorious for his Thresh too. So I understand that completely. Now here's the thing, man. Do AOE randoms want to lock in this Morgana? Because right now it's a pretty dang good flex for Jazzy and for Focus if they want to put in the bot lane. Instead, looks like they're going to be picking the Jinx for themselves on a short hop, who is known for being a very dependent and very solid late game carry, so I kind of like that pick.
Yeah, me too. I think this is not something uncharacteristic. We've seen short hop on this before many a time, so makes sense. Conviction, now it's your turn to answer. What do you see? You see a Jinx on the other side. What are you looking at now?
You know, if I'm EG Prodigy, Samir becomes an option depending on the way you want to design your composition. Just so things can be locking in that Volibear. Again, there's a flex between himself and for Dragon Jindy. Issue, though, is that Volibear is kind of weak, guys. Volibear is kind of weak right now in the current meta. You put in the jungle, you can get kind of picked by all these other champions that, of course, hasn't propped up in 11.8. You put in the top lane, you can also get counter-picked as well. You can be picking the Jax into it if Chim wants to pull it out. Of course, it wins against other certain top players like Set and all that, but there's still a good amount of counter-picks. And I'm kind of actually a little bit worried of them blocking this Volibear early on.
Yeah, it has to be them kind of fearing the bear, right? They can hear the thunder in the distance, like, no, don't give it to AOE randoms or something, but they definitely won that beer for themselves, but they do grab themselves Rail as an answer for themselves as well. AOE randoms, now the tables have turned, they're back to picking their champions here, and I'll be curious to see what they decide to lock in. It's really a fairly standard jungler.
Nevin also fulfills what Jazzy likes to play already. It's been up on the table, and it's a solid takeaway too. That does mean, though, that we're not going to be seeing any other new junglers unless Conviction wants to pull it out. We've seen Lilia time and time again. Nothing too special. Can full clear, just slightly a little bit unhealthy compared to the others, compared to Hecarim and Udyr. Conviction do have an option now if they do want to pick up Nidalee against this match that Contracts from EG Academy has loved playing against, or Talia as well. Morgana's still on the table, by the way, if Conviction wants to lock in, and has been a good counter pick against this champ because Black Shield, it makes you not go to sleep, by the way. I don't know if you guys know that. Black Shield makes sure that you're not going to be getting a lullaby getting ringed in your ear. And it's a good counter pick into the Alistar that's already been locked in from AOE randoms. We'll have to see if Dragon Jindy has put some skill on that champion instead. Looks like it's going to be the Silas going to be hovered up. Probably going to be locked down as well, as there are, I'd say saw a good 3 ultimates being used on the AOE randoms team.
Yeah, I'm very curious too, though. If you're seeing the Silas come in here and you don't know any of the solo lane matchups, so they're definitely saying, yo, hey, look, we want this pick here, or everything on the table. So Conviction, definitely a pick made with confidence. We'll have to see how it plays out on the Rift. And going into the second ban phase here, you can already see Conviction starting off to target the mid lane here on competition.
I don't know, though. Conviction already showing a lot of their cards when it comes to their comp. It's very clear they want to dive in, Travis. You got Silas, you got Rel, you got Volibear. What do? They get in there and they try and see if they can clap some cheeks. Right now, the AOE randoms have chances to make sure that those cheeks ain't gonna get clapped. You have two ways of making sure that you can create some space. Your mid laner, of course, is a good has a good champ pool to create that space. You got Azir for yourself if competition wants to pull it off. Orianna, of course, being banned away is a good one to remove off the table, but there's still Lucian that can be picked up. There's still other 80 carries that randoms can actually go for. And of course, on the top side, you got many ways of just disengaging from the team because you got double solo lane counter pick. I'm a little bit worried about Conviction in their draft right now, Travesty.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they, like you said, they ban away Orianna, ban away Cassia. That makes sense, right? Because those are things that stop what you want to do, obviously. But their next pick here, they're probably picking up, what, an AD carry here? And your solo lanes are pretty much looking like they're open. So unless they got something spicy, this is looking very interesting from Conviction side on them just really wanting to prioritize this dive that they have.
Yeah. But about Conviction, we'll have to see if they want to pivot away from it with this AD carry champion. Kai'Sa's still on the table if they want to fulfill that dive composition. You do have the Rel. It does work. You do have the Samira that's being able to be played right now too. If you want to go for that, you don't really have a lot of disruption that's currently built from the randoms team.
Could go Sivir?
Sivir's okay, but then you do need some late game carries. So Kai'Sa definitely going to be one that's going to be locked in, and it just works out. It's very clear Conviction's composition is definitely meant to click R, get in there, get dirty. Randoms, though, you got options. You got many ways to try and set yourself up for a solid disengage because Pocus is playing a pretty dang good linebacker.
That is absolutely true. And AOE Randoms, their answer is going to come up here. They've had a lot of time to actually think about what their answers are going to be to all these picks. Renekton?
I don't. Okay, I guess. Not the pick I would go for, Travesty, because Renekton doesn't create that much space and not that good kiting and protecting your backline. But Chim wants to get a solid counter pick for himself. Lilia, Renekton, pretty solid as a top lane duo. I think Rams kind of just looking to, I think they're okay picking these things. So for me, if you're just looking at the draft, it just seems as though Chim and competition are a-okay dealing with what Conviction's identity is going to be. It also means that they have to get Snowball in early on to make sure that they don't get jumped on. But Conviction's throwing a little bit of loop. I like this little play here. They're actually sending Dragon Jindy on that Volibear and putting Distalfinks on this Quinn. Remember, this is a young top laner, man. I have not seen this name at all from any amateur scene. Conviction picked up this top laner to see if they can harness him, see if they can nurture him to be a good top laner. And we'll have to see if he can put his best Niles impersonation on. Because Quinn definitely wins this top lane matchup, 100%.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, too. I'm excited for this, man. We were talking about it before we even got on air. We're like, yo, wait, hold on. This is fresh blood. Hold on. What is he going to pull up? Is he going to come out here styling and profiling? Or is he going to be looking a little bit more stagnant, wanting to play, the stable top lane matchup? But here we go. A Quinn game to start things off. I'm very excited to see what could this mean for Conviction, especially on this top half of the map.
The one thing I am slightly worried about is that Dragon Jindy is still in a pretty sucky jungle matchup. Jazz can still run rampant, run around circles, can still play towards his solo lanes as well and put a lot of pressure. That is one thing that they do have going for the AOE Randoms team, is that they do have winning lanes for themselves, which in theory should help out Chim and competition Snowball early on, along with Jazzy too. But remember, big risk. If they don't match Snowball early, or if they only have a small gold lead from the early stages, Conviction can just run rampant the moment they hit 6. As long as they're all grouped up and together and they start deathballing, they can just start deleting some names. But let's see if Conviction can make sure that teamwork is still solid, or if AOE Randoms can just flex on them with the skill that they have.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most exciting thing to look at too, especially since you did look over Convictions. They obviously put resources into this strategy of let's get Distalfinks something that he immediately wants to play over there inside the top lane. So I'm curious because, every strategy out there in League of Legends, we haven't really found the perfect one. It's one of those things where there's always like a hole in the strategy. There's give and take. I'm curious on if the take is going to outweigh it. It's going to be a very interesting case here, especially with AOE Randoms getting a bunch of picks that they're going to be confident on.
It's pretty early. It's a pretty tough gambit, honestly, from AOE Randoms. But remember, this team that's 3-0. This is a team that has been majority of the time been together since summer scouting grounds all the way till now. So, if I'm AOE Randoms, even though compositionally, they don't really link up well together, player skill-wise, these guys have been in training for quite a while. Competition's been on top of the ladder for a long minute. Ariandel kind of fallen off since the UCI days. Haven't really seen him pop off on a team as of yet. Distalfinks is a young top planer that again, none of us have really seen. So Conviction, they have a pretty damn tough opponent if they want to create this upset. But if they do get this upset, AOE Rams, that means that you guys got to start sweating, going to game 2, going to game 3, looking for the rest of the season. That's something that Conviction do have on their side.
Yeah, this is the turning point of the season, right? We're halfway through.
Exactly.
You've got your 3 games in. Now we're starting to see some of these teams go against each other yet again, and they've had that little bit of action. They've gotten to spectate each other's games, and that's a very interesting thing too. The view from up top is nice, but let me tell you, the people from down below, they're ready to pop off some shots. So I'm curious, what is Conviction's idea going to be going into this? And like you said, if they're able to take down a team that's currently the Giant right here, that's a lot of momentum that can go in their way for their second half of this run.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, we'll see if Dragon Jindy can survive this early jungle. It's one thing. Again, that's one thing that I'm worried about. This is this Quinn, though. I'm excited. If he could flex on Chim in this top lane, it can definitely work out. Chim can itemize Prowler's Claw, though, and if he does itemize Prowler's Claw, then it will work pretty well. So we'll see if that works out. Level 1 already coming in hot from the AOE randoms team as they're all booking it towards that top lane.
Yeah, I was about to say the horses are off, man. Game number 1, and we're seeing AOE randoms. They're saying, "All right, let's go ahead.
I
Let's
like this.
scrap here."
It's a good way to make sure Chim has lane priority. And if they manage to get Distal Finks out, it's going to be looking really good.
Oh no, they're wrapping around perfectly on that one. Can they get
Oh,
a flash?
they want him.
They
That's
got him. The cleanse is there. Ooh, beautiful
All right.
ball to get out. He's safe.
Yeah, we'll be making sure he gets out. Opts for the cleanse, by the way, instead of teleport. So that's one thing that Quinns can go for instead because Quinn's ultimate gives you a ton of move speed just to get you back in the lane. So we'll see what will happen at this point onwards. Cleanse being down that means that Jazzy can look to turn up and force that flash to be burned from Distal Finks, but we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be AoE's game plan in this early game.
I like it though. I do like it just because, slice and dice. You usually see him play at night, but a little bit of a spicy start to the game. A flash for a cleanse over towards that top side matchup. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that, but also down here inside the bot lane as well. Alistair did have to use his flash to look to burn that cleanse. So we'll see what these junglers may exactly look for in their pathing.
I do like that when Area of Effect randoms went for the invade on the top side, not only to put pressure on Distal Finks and to get the vision on a vision on Dragon Jindy's red buff and his Raptors, that Katja and Colin actually moved on the bottom side to put wards in Jazzy's bottom lane. Lots of just have a small little 2v2, but tracking Jazzy is going to be a very important game plan for Dragon Jindy, as we already see Jazzy going for full clear. Dragon Jindy want to do the same thing, and making sure they're both going to be at the same place at the same time is very important when we take a look at this fight. As bottom side, they do turn level 2. Trade's going to go back and forth, but that's pretty much going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's just exactly what we were looking at seeing. As you see Arendelle trying to do a little bit of some jabs in the mid lane as well. And, I'm expecting to see a little bit of this inside this game. A lot more trades and stuff like that between these two. No specific kills, but definitely looking at these two trading a couple punches here and there.
I do like what Distal Finks and Dragon Jindy actually did with their pathing here. Because of the lane priority of what Quinn has in this matchup, they just walked in and took away the blue buff away from Jazzy, man. That's a really good thing to see from their team, as Jazzy is going to be feeling real bad without having a blue buff for himself.
Yeah, never a good feeling whenever you're not able to have that for yourself. The Dragon is over here towards his top side, is going to be able to just secure that, and it is going to be Lilia just starting on to the top scuttle here, but Dragon's doing a good job making sure to put the pressure onto this Lilia, but getting caught out. This is a little bit rough, a little bit too much, as he's going to have to flash forward, but it's Crocodile Dundee over there. First blood going over the Chim.
How surprising that Conviction wanted to fight for that scuttle, but then both laners were not ready to move.
Yeah.
Distal Finks had priority the entire time, and they actually let Chim walk through. Usually you'd see Dragon Jindy walk towards Distal Finks and he'll be fine. But in this situation, Chim got there first. Big mistake from Conviction coming in, but regardless, a good punish too on the top side for Chim. So stuff on him.
Yeah, honestly, good clip there. But yeah, we're getting into this and we're seeing how that goes. I mean, it's a interesting thing because you were talking about, we hit the nail pretty hard in terms of like this Volibear does need to be careful. It makes a good move early game and then a bit of miscommunication. Arendelle playing with fire there, but it does have that healing to back him up.
Regardless, though, Dragon Jindy is going to be pretty far behind, knowing that he didn't manage to take his red buff or his Krugs on this clear. So it just means that Jazzy's going to have a little bit of tempo coming into this, because you already see him at the Raptors. Going to be doing his full clear again for himself. If he has the time, he could look for an invade or look for a bottom side gig, as that's something I would like to see. Short Hop and Focus can definitely look for it. Here comes Jazzy.
Yeah, Jazzy going bowling, doesn't hit anybody. Happens. We all have gutter balls every now and again. So Jazzy would just go back to the jungle.
Still though, Conviction trying to see if they can go on a short hop, but Colin missing the ideal way of going in. Focus wants to turn things around.
Yeah, it's looking for it, and the Ignite was used on that play. The Kaisa is looking to follow it up. They do have backup on the way. Volibear coming in quick, but is going to call it off. So nothing happened there inside the bot lane, just a summoner burned.
There's still time being burned away from Dragon Jindy, though. It's one thing that I had to be very cognizant of. You know, him putting pressure on the bottom lane just so that Kacha and Colin can get a solid reset is going to cost him this jungle match. I mean, that's one thing that I really want to highlight, man. Jazzy can kind of, if Jazzy is allowed to do this and just run rampant in this game, it's going to look real tough, man. I'm very afraid of the current status of Dragon Jindy because he's going to get exhausted of all these resources, all these camps, and all this dough that he has a chance of getting, but it's getting taken away.
Yeah, it's rough, right? He's finding this game very unbearable very quickly, and it is it's not an ideal Volibear game here for him. And we're in the top side, Distal Finks. He's the young blood getting dove underneath the tower. Dominus pop, but he is blinded. Beautiful move actually from Finks here.
Whoa.
Beautiful to dodge out on getting taken out in the gank. Juzzy's still looking for more. Is going to look to try and burn him down.
That's it, man. Just
Competition's here.
Yeah.
They have to bring in the reinforcements for that one.
Yeah, I was going to say, competition took another turret shot, and I thought he was going to be dead. But the good thing that he actually makes out with just a sliver of his HP left, and it's a good way of targeting the way Conviction wants to play this early game. But take a look at the screen right now, Travesty. They make it an optimal punish on the map. You see the opposing jungle on the top side. You take that dragon ASAP. Knowing that short arm Pokus were also off the map too, it's a good time to do so. Allows you to play for this, for the Dragon Soul when it comes up. And also getting Ocean Drake is really good in this early game, knowing that some of your laners are kind of suffering right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one, man. And it's good on Conviction to be able to make that optimal play for themselves. Arendelle is also going to get blue buff, so that will be nice for Arendelle to possibly look for that pop-off moment inside this game. But right now, it is randoms that have been kind of controlling the tempo of everything for the moment. Had to see how Convictions look to seize that back, as you were talking about the jungle control, man. Like, you even see it. There's wards over in the top side. Dragon goes up there. He's spotted.
Yeah, but I am surprised that Jazzy hasn't looked to gone for many invades. It is pretty tough, though, knowing that Chim is being pressured on the top lane, and bottom side short arm focus on the ones getting pushed in from Kacha and Colin. But even though they're getting pushed in, short arm's doing a good job farming, man. 76 CS to 60. You know, he's got a good amount of money so he can invest into some coins.
Yep.
And then with Kacha, you know, even though they have lane priority to kind of impact the map, they're not really doing anything off of it because Dragon Jindy is just making sure he's staying the same with farm.
Yeah. Just keeping everything stable and whatnot. We have Herald that is up as a neutral objective, so we'll be seeing both of these junglers probably looking to try and set someone up with that. But Dragon is the first person to make his way over there.
Yep. Top lane priority means that he should be able to get this. Also knowing that on the map, Jazzy did opt in for a reset. This Riptail should go over unless if Chim wants to stop that. Competition looks like he wants to fight Arendelle.
Yeah, he's looking like he wants to fight. Arendelle has that spirit rush, though. He said, no, I don't want none of that.
Yeah. Chim should back away, though. This Riptail should be over to the Conviction team.
Yeah, it is going to go over. It looks like we are going to see Arendelle snag it up. So not optimal, but still has picked it up for that mid lane.
Yeah. Even then, they still have a solid gold lead, Travesty. It's mainly off of those 2 early kills and mainly off of that bottom lane CS discrepancy that Short Hop got over Kacha, man. You know, he's up 20 CS now at this point. Looking to take some more. I mean, they're taking the bottom scuttle away too.
Yeah.
So
this game, it feels definitely like, you know, randoms have kind of controlled the tempo of it, man. The gold lead has been increasing in their favor. They've been doing a lot of things right. They've been making sure that the Volibear has felt some punish here and there. I am definitely keeping my eyes on how random decide they want to move around the map. They got caught on the backhand just a moment ago, but they have been usually setting up for this. And yet again, thinks he's got the side onto him, but it doesn't matter. It's looking like it's going to do a lot of damage, force him off the wave. But
yeah,
the target is still up there in the top lane, like you were talking about at the beginning, Will.
they have to do that, man. If I'm if I'm area effect randoms, you have to make sure Chim gets off on a good foot. Mid lane's looking like it's pretty even between competition and Ariandel so far. But then if I'm AoE, you have to make sure Chim gets off on a right foot. You want to go for another dive. He does have to cleanse online.
Yeah, he definitely does. Did just
Dragon
use
is here.
Nice here, but Dragon is here in the area. Josie goes golden, but is it going to be enough?
That's
Take
it.
a chomp out of him. Dragon finds the kill.
Yeah, solid little defensive play from Convictions. Every time you show up on the top side, you can easily just call him out on it. And Conviction, just knowing the offensive play from AoE,
Oh.
solid punish coming in. Rocket gonna get stopped by Rocket gonna get stopped from Dragon Jindy, so that's a good thing to make sure that Distal Finks is staying alive. But I'm liking this game plan from Conviction, even though AoE got a 1K gold lead for themselves. Remember what I said in draft, man. This is a team that has Snowball early on. They need to build that Snowman up real fast and make sure they got Jack Frost on their side. Because if they don't, that Snowman's gonna melt ASAP. Because Conviction's team, on paper, as a unit, looks a lot better.
Yes, I'm 100% with you on that, man. And I feel like you gotta watch out. You don't want your chariot or whatever to turn back into that pumpkin. You know, as the game goes on longer and longer. Call Lynn over here inside the mid lane, looking to try and roam together with matching Pocus, but Josie's here as well. Could see a bit of action here.
They all want to fight over this dragon right now. Charm is going to land in the call-in to push him away from this river, but regardless, Conviction is still here first. And they all have the ultimates online. This is where it can get very dangerous if I'm AoE randoms, because it's very hard to approach this. Chim could look to teleport. Teleport is going to come through. Focus Limp could go in.
Yeah, here we go. The Unbreakable was brought over. It is a full retreat being called by Conviction here, and they're going to be able to get out with all of their lives, but no dragon to their name.
Well, I am very surprised Conviction actually called for that retreat, actually, because they have all those ultimates online, but I guess they just weren't ready. They don't want to take that fight at the end of the day. It does mean, though, Travesty, that Dragon Jindy can be losing a little bit more of that jungle, especially that blue buff that is so good for Ariandel right now. Instead, though, Conviction, they're going to be salvaging that dragon play and making sure they get some plates on the top lane, maybe some more with that top iron turret going to be looking to fall down with this rich health being used. But I'm not too sure if I like this kind of play, because it just means that Chim is able to extend that laning phase for himself and zone out Distal Finks for quite a while. And it also means that Distal Finks needs to now start finding plays across the map, making sure he's on that Falcon, and let's see if they can.
Yeah, he's kind of been locked down over in the top lane. See if he'll be able to get enabled. He's been put into the bird cage. You can see him just strolling through the mid lane, just like waving away to his dedicated fans. But there's so much vision down here in the bot side. He's not going to be able to find anything there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, at this point, if I'm Chim, I'm actually pretty happy, man. I was like, oh, cool. The lane phase is done. I get to freeze his top lane all day, every day. And then if Distal Finks shows up, I get to be chill. Yeah. Competition Ariandel looking to trade some more, but now this is where Distal Finks could look to influence the mid lane. But this is what this is what happens when you end laning phase, man. If you're a top laner who ends laning phase and you're winning, you're basically just running around the map. You're like, yo, man, where can I go? I gotta wait for this top lane to come back to my wave. I need to make sure that this gold comes back in so I can get my cash money. And finally, he comes back in. But this is where, you know, losing this EXP, and when the wave comes back to Chim's side, you're kind of just stuck sitting and waiting.
Yeah, the hustle doesn't stop, right? You're like, hey man, listen, you need some help with this. All of a sudden, you're over at your cousin's place, moving some furniture, you know, and that's what the Queen is currently at, man. Just looking to try and get that money whenever they can, see if they can keep that hustle alive. But you know, they got to return back to their own thing here eventually, sooner or later. As you can see, them back over here, the wave finally being brought back to him over in the top lane. So we'll see what Chim does with this. Probably just going to let the set up and possibly get something else going. Lily is going back up there towards the top side, so could see some more action there.
I'm just very surprised, though, that the randoms team haven't looked to, you know, pull. I mean, they tried. They did try to pull triggers on Distal Finks, and unfortunately just got caught off. But, you know, usually if I see this kind of composition, I'm like, all right, cool. You're trying to flex mid lane, trying to flex top lane, trying to make sure Jazzy gets a good gank from both sides, and then it works out. This game, though, they've been on the back foot for quite a while. Even though Short Hop did have a CS lead, it's slowly closing out right now. And look at that. They already have their sights on competition with 3 people looking to dive him.
Yeah, Ari's a tricky champion to do this on. No Spirit Rush is available, though, so they could be looking to pull the trigger. They got him locked down, take away the tower. What else do you got left? Competition goes down, and Dragon finds the kill.
Randoms, though, are looking to see if they can get a counterattack come in as they do take away the red buff and the second Rift Herald to make sure that competition's life hasn't been sacrificed in vain. So it's a good thing that they're playing this macro game and just cross mapping left and right. But the more you do this, the more you allow Conviction to scale up, and the more they scale up, the better it's gonna be. None of their sights in the mid lane though.
Yeah, they're looking for it, man. They pull them on in. They're fine to shut down immediately on the shore hop. Josie's the next target over here into the backside. Not going to be able to hit him with that strike. Lullaby only going to be able to connect to 2 members here, but Distal Finks is going to take a little bit of damage. It's a rude awakening for them for sure. Pockets headbutt, but forgets to pulverize. And it's going to be call in, getting out of harm's way, while Shelly gets called over here into the mid lane.
Yeah. What an awkward fight from randoms, man. We see Jazzy go for the Lilting Lullaby, not getting anything off of it. Teleport comes from competition. In the meantime, Arendelle is just getting a turret for himself and pressuring the bottom lane. Chim is on the top side and just claimed the top hour turret for himself too, but randoms are playing really awkward today. I don't know.
Yeah, that was perhaps one of the most awkward team fights I've seen in quite a bit of time. I'm right there with you on that. See, what exactly it might be. We've talked about miscommunication being a factor when we talked about Conviction earlier on in the early mistake with the Volibear over the Scuttle, but now seems like AOE randoms might be having a little bit of that themselves too.
Now, taking a look at the gold lead, everything's basically equal travesty. You know, nothing too crazy going on. Only 500 separate the bottom lane. Jungle is near the same because Dragon Genie picked up 2 kills in a losing matchup. You know, so this next trade coming up means that this should be the next fight. Look at Arendelle, man. Oh, he's ready.
He's cheeky right now, man. He's looking at it. He's going to throw the chains out. He's going to try and lay some damage out onto the Alistar. He's got backup coming over into the way. They're going to try and see if they'll be able to get the kill onto Short Hop. But
look
the rest
at
of the
Arendelle, man.
Coming in here, Arendelle is healing on up in the middle of them all, but is going to be taken down. Competition finds the kill there. So far, a 1-for-1 in that trade in the bot lane. And looks like the randoms might be looking to go ahead and grab the Drake for themselves as well.
I'm not too sure if that was the right trade. Conviction, they don't want to give this up, though, Travesty. You see them all posturing very aggressively, but no one has pulled the trigger as of yet. Many ultimates have been blown, though. Keep that in mind. Dragon Genie still has a Stormbringer. Calling still the mid-X Storm. They clump up. This might be too late.
This could be a big fight. The Dragon has reset, and there's a huge fight in the midst of all. The Kaisa finds the kill onto the Chim, and it's going to be the killer instinct going into the back line, getting that double kill. As Pockets finds himself getting taken down. A triple kill for Conviction. The Kaisa is online, and boy, oh boy, the game has turned its head.
Remember what I said about this draft, Travesty? This composition don't function well when all 5 are together. Chim was unable to do anything. Competition, of course, didn't have ultimate, and not having those ultimates are a big thing when it came to that fight. Stormbringer was big. Magnetic Storm was big. It caught many people off on the back end. And with that Conviction, man, I got to be feeling good with the way this game has been going on so far. Randoms haven't looked to pull any sort of early aggression. You called out on their offensive play in the early game. You're sitting pretty on the second half, man.
Hey, look, man, I don't think anybody would argue about their Kaisa picking up a triple kill, right? Like, you pick up a triple kill and then, hey, hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is feeling great. Hold on, we styling. We are profiling. Let's get it, says Conviction here. They'll be looking to see how they're turning this around because, you know, for the first time inside this game, gold lead has shifted over. And, you know, with other neutral objectives like the Baron coming on up here soon, we'll have to see how they continue to play this out because they've been doing pretty well for themselves.
It is very small, though. 1K isn't going to be a lot, but in relation to the compositions, for sure, Conviction's looking really good. You know, even though Distal Finks hasn't really been doing a lot, it has been stopping Chim. It's kind of like he's been handling the one-on-one whenever Chim wants to go on. And I'm liking the way they're allowing Distal Finks to just kind of be that disengager of whoever wants to go in with that Voltier on a single target disruption. So definitely giving a lot of value from that end. At this point, though, if I'm Conviction, I want to see if I can maintain that 1-3-1 and make sure that I got the winning side lanes. However, Arendelle might get tackled down.
Yeah, Arendelle, he's looking to get put on down to the ground, take a good old dirt nap, pop the Dominus. We'll try to fight this one on out. The Lullaby does have to get burned. You will go golden, but it will just delay the inevitable.
But look at Conviction, man. Every time they lose a piece, they are ready to go for the counterattack. They want to go in.
Ooh, they're looking to go in. They smell blood in the water. Short goes down. That is a rampage for this Kaisa here. And yet again, they just immediately pull the trigger here.
Conviction is playing good right now, Travesty.
Ooh,
Competition's going to
Charm.
land that Flash Charm, but I don't know if they want to continue.
Yeah, Finks is in the midst of it all. Did have to pop the cleanse there. They're trying to kite this fight back. No lullaby onto Josie just yet here. But got a little bit too close to the sun for a moment there.
Little bit. One thing I do got to mention, though, Travis, is that Ariandel has been caught off twice now. He's been looking for many aggressive plays. He did one against Focus on the bottom lane before that Dragon even started. And if I'm Ariandel, man, I don't know if I should be looking for those single one-on-one plays. You need to make sure you're with the team once you get that lane priority being established in. We've seen this guy perform really well. We've seen him play well back then when he was on UCI. You know, him playing this game right now, he's not looking too hot. I got to be honest. He's making too many individual plays, and right now, just make sure you get Ultimate Lullaby, make sure you get Short Ops Ultimate, or even competitions, Spirit Rush, and, you know, play with the team, because right now your team is looking really good.
Yeah, I feel like it's the duality of Silas, right? There's something about playing the champion. You know,
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the duality of Silas. I think it's just the duality of playing the assassin, man. Sometimes you get a little too hyped. Sometimes you want to go in like this.
Yeah, exactly like this. But this could be the play they're looking for here. Pocket's taking a bit of damage, though. Not sure if that's the target they wanted. As Ariandel taking a heaping amount of damage. Finally pops the Unshakable. Unbreakable. Kaisa finds the kill. Josie is looking to lay out a little bit more damage, but the Lullaby has already been used. Jim's joining the fight from the side, and Josie's trying to lay out.
Finks still alive.
Finks is able to stay alive inside of this fight. Call Lin taking a bit
Gotcha.
of damage. It's just a Kaisa going in the midst of four of them. And Conviction, they're having to lip away from this fight, even though they're the ones that took down the member.
I will say this is an example of the Conviction team when you are retreating away and you're on the back foot. This is a team that wants to go in. But if you're the one running away, it's not going to be looking too good because you don't got the tools to back away. And that's what I was mentioning, where sometimes some of these fights off of Ariandel is looking kind of sus, man. He went in there with the Unbreakable, and he was taking a lot of damage. Then he activates to turn back on a Pocus. Competition might get caught off guard, though.
Competition. He's out of place. He's taken out.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, though, is that will this trigger Baron going to start it? It is. 22 minutes in. Conviction is going to be looking to start up this Baron with competition being down. Keep in mind, no ultimates are up. Pocus is going to be looking to start off this fight, but they haven't looked to gone in yet.
Yeah, Zap was able to connect onto Finks there. Call in.
Distal.
In the midst of everybody, but he's isolated and taken out. That's three that's taken out in favor of randoms. Make it four. It is just the Kaisa against the world. The Super Mega Death Rocket does not secure his fate, but a couple more rockets fired off will. A triple kill for Short Hop. And randoms, they're back online, baby.
What a damn blunder from Convictions, man. Yo, good stuff on AOE randoms to make sure you get an optimal punish, especially off Chim, man. The moment Distal Finks hopped on to Short Hop, he stunned that mother up, and then it was looking really good, especially with all that AOE that came through from the rest of the team, from Jazzy and from Short Hop. My God. AOE randoms managed to find the correct fight in a choke that worked well for them, and they get the Baron to reward themselves off of it. Conviction was looking really good, but then the moment they start getting in some of these team fights, the moment they start making some mistakes, everything just went downhill. It also means that Conviction, they are unable to get this soul point for themselves. That's a Cloud Drake. This makes wants to see if he can put a stop to it, but everyone's going to be looking to make it out.
Yeah, nobody's able to catch anybody out of place there. And it's like you said, they make one mistake, one bad team fight, and now all of a sudden they're caught off tempo, but they're looking to try and regain it. They're not letting randoms rest at all. Pockets goes down. Colin looking to see if he'll be able to find the pick onto Josie here. Josie going to be able to take a bit of damage. Sleep that's going to be able to follow it up. It's taken out. No Super Mega Death Rocket isn't going to claim any lives here. Chimp is looking to re-engage this fight. Looking to see if he'll be able to start it off onto Ariandel.
Gotcha, Distal.
A little bit of damage.
Distal.
To the backside. It's going to be Short Hop taken out, shut down, going over to Kacha. Kacha now against everybody else. Uses Killer Instinct to try and reposition himself. No Lullaby available at the current moment in time. Is going to be taken out. That's one. That's two. That's get taken away. Ariandel's going to be able to get the Lullaby, but it's not going to be anything as the rest of his team taking a dirt nap. Ariandel not going to get hit by the charm. Is going to have to try and chain it on up, but it's going to be a loss for them. An ace and a triple kill over to competition.
Man, earlier on, Travesty, this game was so clean when both the teams are just trading left and right, back and forth across the map. Now, since that Baron occurred, they just come off the base, see if they can fight over and over again. And if I'm convinced, you got to stop, man. You can't be looking to take these fights when you're behind tempo or when you're behind the map state right now. You got to recuperate some of those losses, and they haven't yet. And because they fought when they haven't gotten those losses recuperated, they lost another fight. They lost another fight again. What happened to be a close game, Travesty, at 21 minutes, now ballooned 7K goal lead ahead for the random squad. Off of a punish around the Baron, by the way. Conviction made a gigantic blunder, and they're paying for it by a lot.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man. You were talking about it. These two teams, they were filling each other out, and then, they get that one punch in, and they're like, wait a second, hold on. These guys, we can take them on down here. Make a Death Rocket just fired off there. Just doing some scouting, I guess, with it. See where they exactly are as the lullaby comes through onto the Alistair. But, man, this has been just a chaotic turn of events in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, off of one punish. And, it's one of the reasons why randoms have been together for quite a while. They've been working together for many together for many months now, since summer of 2020. They've been a solid squad through and through. Even though early game, we can kind of criticize them on not looking for those early game plays like they should have, or not throwing the mixes of where they want to throw those early game plays, because Jazzy did get caught on the top lane. They do a good job post mid game. They did a really good job on answering an offensive play from Conviction. And the moment they get their foot on the pedal, they're definitely pushing on that gas, and it's looking really good. From that moment they got that Baron.
Yeah, from the moment they got that Baron, it has been looking like it's a game that Random's back in control of dictating the pace of everything. We have a 7K difference in gold between these two teams, and that has happened over the course of the past couple minutes. It is honestly just them really playing well inside this mid game. Have to see though, Conviction, see how they're going to be armed, and if they're going to be armed and ready for what the next play will be. We got a Dragon in a minute and a half. Baron will be back up in about 2 minutes. We got some neutral Jettas, and they're going to be looking to try and duke it out.
Yeah, but big worry again, Travesty. I got to highlight this, man. Arendelle is not looking hot in this game. He's currently 2-4 on the map. He's down a level compared to competition. He hasn't made any gigantic plays across the board for the team, and I'm a little worried on his performance right now in this game one. He needs to throw something, and he needs to change something on the way he's approaching some of these fights. Maybe see if you can find a flank on a short hop, or see if you can tackle down Chim, as he is relatively squishy right now, only knowing that he only has a stride breaker on deck in the Sterix Gauge too. But either you're going to have to dive in the back line, or you have to tackle the front line, man, and you have to figure out some way you want to approach it. If you do tackle short hop, it's going to be a big victory, but you do have to get through Jazzy and get through Chim. It's tough, man.
Yeah, it's a lot to have to burn through inside this composition here. And, oh man, it is not something we're envious of if you're looking over on their side, but they have shown interesting angles to be able to get themselves into the backline. So be curious, is that same creativity going to come out on how they want to get their threats into the backline, and how do they do this? It thinks looking to catch out competition here. This is going to be very close. The flash was burned. Fink's not able to close it out. He's going to take to the sky to finish him off, it seems.
Yeah, but take a look at who's on the top lane right now. Arendelle has to teleport back in. Competition, of course, has to teleport too. Fink's losing that flash is actually very crucial in this next fight. And this is the whole point. One resource being burned means that one teams may not even have to opt in to take it, but AOE, they are confident in taking it. They're already here first in the river. Conviction has to see if they can come back, but it actually looks like they don't even want to take it. They're actually making a way towards Baron to get some control here.
15 seconds.
This is something that we do see from LPL teams, where they are giving up that dragon to make sure that they get control, but look at where everyone else is at. Conviction, they want them to face check. Randoms, they're not taking that bite, man. They're calling them out. It's like, yo, you guys can't start this Baron. We're going to be walking ourselves down the mid lane. We're taking this mid and hit. Now, you want to challenge us, then go ahead and do so, but we are ready to call y'all out. And look at Conviction, now they're scrambled. They have to see if they can get this optimal punish, but they're not in position right now until they want to pull that trigger from Dragon, Diddy, and Colin. They're definitely looking, and look at Randoms. They're so patient on this discipline. Now Randoms on the backside. The good magnetic storm.
The invite, it's coming through. It's going to be called in the midst of them all. You got the Ari over in the side. Kaisa's going to be able to take him out, but Kaisa's so far away from the rest of the fight. It's going to be 2 kills that have been able to be secured by Conviction here, but it's turned around a 2 for 2 now. You have the beautiful Pulverize coming in. Double kill comes through as well. Face gets taken out, and it's just going to be AOE randoms routing the side of Conviction. They're going to look to grab this inhibitor as their prize.
Oh, man, so clean from the randoms team on playing that fight. Even though Conviction or Shorehop get caught up in that Magnug Storm, Chim, Jazzy, and Pocus were doing a good job stalling everyone else out. And that's where we take a look at the way Conviction wanted to fight. And it was a good idea, but then the items that they have, the levels that they have, the amount of gold that they got in their bank changed everything. Chim was untouched, Jazzy was untouched. And if I'm Conviction, even though you made a good play, a good, correct play on getting a solid collapse on the back line, this is where you got to wonder, can they win that next fight? Because when you get an optimal play like that and you lose it, it's not a good look.
Yeah, it's not at all, man. It is honestly just a bunch of things that have been going constantly wrong for Conviction there. I definitely have to highlight Pockets inside of that, having the awareness saying, oh, wait, hold on, they're clumped together, headbutt, Pulverize, let's go. It is absolutely AOE random playing at the top of their game here. They're very comfortable here inside this mid to late game area. We've seen it time and time again here in the UPL. And man, it's just looking like it's definitely a game that is in their favor. We'll have to see how they continue to play this one out. Baron is still up. And with a mid lane inhibitor down, I think both teams are eyeing this very suspiciously.
Right now, a lot of Vision. Vision's actually pretty split on the top side throughout this river. Chim, of course, taking the control ward away. But if I'm randoms, I honestly don't need this Baron to close out the game, man. We have middle inhibitor locked in. We could look to play for a 1-4 with Chim on a side lane. Distal thinks even on the items, but again, we haven't seen him pop off. He did do a really good job, though. I do appreciate that he was doing a pretty solid game plan. I like what randoms are going for right now. They'll walk together as a 4 or 5 man unit on the top side to get some vision for themselves and making sure they set up those established vision lines on that Raptor bush and on that red buff bush. This is good. This is a solid defense of what you usually want to see when it comes to Baron setup.
Yes, absolutely. They're doing a great job. You can see Finks sitting over here in the wings here. They do not have Ariandale. Ariandale does have TP though. But it started, man.
there's a cheeky ward. They know. They're not walking in yet. It's only 3K.
It's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Finks has dropped down to so low of HP, but it's competition finding the kill yet again. Colin, next up on the table, a lullaby will be what lumbers him to sleep. The GA pop, but it's not going to be him being long for the world here. Has to flash away, trying to just burn some time, but instead he'll be burned. Instead,
that's it, man.
It's Conviction getting fully routed. Only Finks is left alive, but randoms suffered no casualties. This is going to be game.
Yeah, man. As randoms are walking in, gotta highlight some of these different plays. Sphinx, of course, trying to make a Hail Mary, but it's not gonna work by himself. Randoms, they were looking shaky. I'm gonna be honest. They were looking shaky in that first half. They made some incorrect plays and got punished on some plays, but they definitely did a good job punishing Convictions around that Baron around 22 minutes. And from that point onwards, it was their game, man. So one of the reasons why they're still undefeated when it comes to the way they approached it, but I would like to see some ways of them cleaning things up when it comes to the way they play that early game.
Yeah, honestly, Conviction, like you said, too, there, I love some of the things that we did get to see from them. We'd love to see some of that aggression come out. I would love to see it get honed into a fine blade at this point in time, man. Like I like this thing, that blade that they had crafted there. It was dull on some parts, right? Like you got to some parts of it, and it was a little bit sharp. He was just like, oh wait, hold on, randoms might actually lose this game one, right? Like Conviction looks like they're in control. They're winning all these team fights. They make 2 big errors. And then it's just like, oh, wait, hold on. Just randoms took over the game. Oh, wait, it's the largest gold lead inside the game since the game started. It just felt like just randoms as soon as it went over. It was just classic for them.
Exactly, man. You said it right. And when we look at the randoms team, they may once since that punish in, it looked really good. However, I gotta put some love on a conviction though. They did a solid draft. It looked really good. They had a solid team cohesion when it came through, and their identity as a unit. Unfortunately, when it came to execution, Arendelle got caught off guard a little bit too much. Sometimes when they want to go in, they were expending resources individually before the fight even started. That's one thing I got to highlight when you have a cohesive composition is that you got to make sure that you are burning those tools all together as a team, because that's why it's a team game. That's why you're building a solid team composition. But then you look at AOE randoms, even though their team composition isn't as cohesive together as a unit, it's more of a pick or more of a, you could say, more of just a team that requires a little more gold. Each champion has individual agency, and that's one thing that has an advantage where, Chim can look for a play. Chim can look for a play. Freaking Jazzy can look for a play. Everyone on that squad can look for individual plays, and that's why it worked out at the end of the day. And so when we go to game 2, Travesty, gotta have questions on conviction, the way they want to answer themselves, and how they want to approach, figuring out the way they want to attack against AOE, because if they're going to be sticking to the same game plan, they got to make sure that they're all on the same page.
100% agree. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take ourselves a short break. When we come back, our analyst desk is going to get all prepped and ready and get everything ready to go. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you shortly. Do not touch that browser.